Ladies and gentlemen, I am just almost at a loss for words where I almost couldn't even formulate what I was wanting to say. Because we have talked about Ohio since the inception of the AFC with the Anaya Day Garrett story. And you know, that came out of Cuyahoga County, Ohio. Well, Springfield Township is another place where we've gotten a number of stories that have come out of. And I don't know why it seems like Ohio has just a horrible record for child abuse, child murders. I don't know what's going on out there. I'm just going to assume maybe it's the smog in the air. I don't know what the hell is going on out there. But there is a woman, and I think she's a mother if I'm not mistaken. This woman is accused of punching and choking her own daughter until this baby stopped breathing. Now that child is dead. The horrible scene played out in a place called Springfield Township. This comes as the area is still reeling from the death of 6-year-old James Hutchison from Butler County, which we've talked about, and also 3-year-old Nilo Lattimore, which we also talked about on the channel. If you've heard of those names, if you haven't seen the story, all you got to do is just search it in my channel description, type it in there, and it should come right up. Now, to add to the list, 4-year-old Nyla Miller. Let me see if I can get one of my favorite pictures of this baby on the screen, because she is just the cutest little thing, cute as a button. One of my favorite pictures of this baby is, well, really, this one. She was a little bit younger in this photo, but to me, this signifies just the most innocent, sweet baby ever. You just look into her eyes. She just has so much promise, and this baby couldn't do a thing wrong in the world. Okay? That is 4-year-old Nala Miller, Nahla, who lived in the home on Hudipole Lane until 9 days ago. Now, the 911 call came in at about 2 p.m. on Tuesday, April the 13th, when Tiana Robinson, who is Nala's mother, let me see if I can get her face up on the screen. Let me see. Right here. Why does it look like this woman? Y'all see her face? Oh my God. Like, I don't know what that is on her face. And I'm going to tell y'all, makeup is the devil. I can guarantee y'all the only reason anybody probably thought she was attractive in the face, just gross. Like, it looked like somebody crunched up some cereal and just spread it across her face. Let's go back. Let's look at this for a moment. Talking about skincare, I didn't think soap cost that much. Just wash your damn face. Like, why does your face look like that? Like, this woman looks like she sleeps face first on top of the concrete. Like, she just, every day she just gets sleepy. She just face first right into the concrete. Gross. Absolutely disgusting. But that is the mother. And her name is Tiana Robinson. And she is the one who actually made the 911 call. So if y'all want to hear the 911 call, I actually will play it for you if y'all want to hear it. Let me know. But she called and said, my daughter is not responding. She just passed out. That's what the mom said, just making it seem like, oh, the baby just passed out for no reason. But y'all have watched my channel long enough. Y'all know that's BS. Yes. Huh? The 911 operator said, well, is she still breathing? Is her chest rising and falling like normal? Asking, is she breathing? The mother asking a man in the room, presumably her boyfriend, by the name of Rensley Washington. Let me see if I can get his face up on the screen. This dude right here, who looks like he could be Al B. Sure's love child. Funny looking ass boy, huh? Rensley Washington. We'll come back to him here in a moment. But she asked him, is her chest rising and falling like normal? And he said no. The operator tried to talk him through the CPR process. Even with the Anaya Day Garrett story, y'all have heard, it's such a heartbreaking thing to listen to. It really is. The 911 operator told them how to do it, and she said, how long has she been like this? And the man said in the background, he said, I want to say about 3 minutes ago, ma'am, 2 minutes ago. She was just fine, and then she just passed out. Then she re-woke up. She woke up and passed out again. And then the mother said, yeah. I don't know if y'all are a fan of Trading Places with Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd, one of my favorite movies of all time. Y'all know how the dude in jail was always trying to co-sign. You the MF I was about to carve. And the dude was like, yeah. That's what the mother did. And I promise y'all, all jokes aside, she actually did that, yeah, in the phone call. I'll play it for you if y'all want to hear it. Anyway, police say that is actually a lie, a bald-faced, black-ass lie. That's not what they said. That's what I said. But anyway, they said that the mother actually punched this baby. And y'all look at her face. There's nothing this baby could have did wrong. But the mom, for some strange reason, punched this girl several times wherever she punched her at. She punched her several times and choked this baby. Choked her until this baby stopped breathing. When they questioned her boyfriend, Washington said she fell off the scooter. You know what? I'm not the brightest crayon in the box. If I had to pick a color, I might be, a brown or maybe a navy blue, because I'm damn sure not the brightest crayon in the box. But I'm going to tell you guys, I am getting absolutely sick of these people being so lazy in their actual description as to what happened to these kids. Like, you know, something traumatic happened and you just make up some bull crap. She fell off a scooter and she died? Really? How fast was this girl going? 50 miles an hour on a scooter? Did she fall at 40, 50 miles an hour? I didn't think a human being could actually, not let alone a 4-year-old baby. I would love to hear him explain how that happened. She woke up, she passed out. She woke up and passed out again. How many times have you guys heard, let alone out of Texas, out of Ohio, how these people who are caretakers to these children continue to blame their death, which usually ends up being blunt force trauma? They always blame it on the babies. They did it. I didn't have nothing to do with it. Both of them were arrested, and Robinson was arrested for attempted murder, assault, and endangering, and Washington for obstructing justice. The little girl was put on life support. They were almost able to save this baby's life. And I have to report some very disturbing news, is that her little body just couldn't take it. And they had to pull her from life support because she no longer had brain activity. It's really, really sad. But she was taken off of life support Wednesday at Cincinnati Children's Hospital and died shortly after. They said, what are your thoughts? Local 12 asked Diane Fisher Christiana, a boxing promoter who actually represents this woman right here, who represents Mom's boyfriend, which is the clown on the right-hand side. And she said, well, it's hard to believe because he's a nice kid, and I actually just signed him to a contract, and he has a big future. So apparently that dude is a boxer. He's a boxer while the mom was practicing her boxing skills, or lack thereof, on this 4-year-old baby who she gave birth to, who she had carried through at least 9 months of labor, who she chose to lay down with the father and create this child because it's her body and her choice. She didn't have to create this child. But if you ask me, she only had this baby for the benefits that she could collect from this kid. And once she wasn't getting any more benefits from this kid, she decided to try to end this baby's life to hurt the father. Okay? That's what I truly believe. Because if you didn't love this kid that much, why not just give the father a chance? And I'm going to tell you guys, the father actually did speak up, and I'm thankful that he put out a statement. The dad would have gladly have taken custody of his baby if the mom would have just said, you know what, here you go. I don't want the little girl. You can have her and raise her. The dad would have promptly picked his baby up. But the mom didn't want that. The mom didn't want the dad to have a chance. The mom didn't want this little girl to have a future. And I'm going to show y'all this baby's face again. Let's see if I can get it up here. This little girl right here, why didn't she deserve a future? Why didn't she deserve an opportunity to grow up and become something great? I'm not going to even talk about that boxing bull crap. It's irrelevant to me. But anyway, both of them are currently in the Hamilton County Jail. Robinson is being held on $1 million bond, and the other person is being held on like a $90,000 bond. But let me show you guys the news videos, and then I'll come back and give the rest of my thoughts about this story, okay? So here we go. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. And again, if you guys are watching, do us a favor, hug a child and click the like. Share this baby's story because we believe that she deserves justice and she deserves to have her story told. So hug this baby and click that like button, okay? Let's get it.
Woman is accused of punching her daughter and choking her until she stopped breathing.
Now that child is dead. The horrible scene played out in Springfield Township, which is where David Winter is right now. David, another child suspected of being killed. Just the unthinkable here.
Yeah, this obviously, Paula, just happening way too often. Just last month, James Hutchinson, 6 years old, from Butler County. Then, just in December, there was Nilo Lattimore, 3 years old. He's up in Butler, in Cincinnati. And now you can add another name to that list. It's Nala Miller. She was just 4 years old, and up until 9 days ago, she lived in this home. Her father, Nathaniel Miller, who is in no way implicated in this case, provided the photos of Nala that you're about to see.
My daughter's not responding. She just passed out.
That's the voice of Tiana Robinson, the 25-year-old mother of Nala Miller, on a 911 call from last week.
Is she still breathing?
I don't know.
Is her chest rising and falling like normal?
Is her chest rising and falling like normal? He said no.
The male voice is presumably Tiana's boyfriend, Rensley Washington, as the operator tries to talk him through CPR.
I want you to put the heel of one hand in the center of her chest, right between the nipples, and you're going to push down hard and fast. How long has she been like this?
I want to say 3 minutes ago, ma'am, 2 minutes ago. She was just fine, and then she passed out, and woke back up and passed out again.
Yeah.
Police say that's a lie. They say Tiana...
Do y'all hear this cockamamie story? Let me back that up. Let me let y'all hear this again.
That's the voice of Tiana Robinson, the 25-year-old mother of Nala Miller, on a 911 call from last week.
Is she still breathing?
I don't know.
Is her chest rising and falling like normal?
Is her chest rising and falling like normal? He said no.
The male voice is presumably Tiana's boyfriend, Rensley Washington, as the...
And listen to the mom when the boyfriend speaks, and the mom is like, yeah. Listen at this.
Operator tries to talk him through CPR.
I want you to put the heel of one hand in the center of her chest, right between the nipples, and you're going to push down hard and fast. How long has she been like this?
I want to say 3 minutes ago, ma'am, 2 minutes ago. She was just fine, and then she passed out, and woke back up and passed out again.
Yeah.
Police say that's a lie. They say Tiana punched the girl several times and choked her until she stopped breathing. When they questioned her boyfriend, Rensley Washington, he said she fell off a scooter. Both were arrested that day, Tiana for attempted murder, assault, and endangering, Rensley for obstructing justice. The little girl taken off life support yesterday at Children's Hospital. She died shortly after. What are your thoughts?
Well, it's hard to believe.
Diane Fisher-Christiane is Rensley's promoter. He is a professional boxer.
He's a nice kid. I just signed him last year, 122-pound kid, and he has a big future in front of him.
That future now in question, and so many questions for this neighborhood.
Sad, tragic when an adult, but when it's a child, it really hurts me, because I've raised children, and abuse is something that you just never want to hear.
Now, I know some people are asking, why would the police say that their story is a lie? Well, first of all, you have to use common sense and listen at their story. They gave about 2 to 3 different accounts as to what happened. What they tried to say was the little girl had just passed out, like they don't know how it happened. Then the boyfriend came with the story about falling off of a scooter. They gave different accounts of the story, and then on top of that, when they finally got there and examined the baby, you could tell that's not what happened. And also, they do an autopsy, okay? They do an autopsy. They're always going to do that. So, and they find out really quickly as to whether the story that they gave even matches up, if that even closely makes any sense. So that's how they know.
And back here live on Hootapole Lane, I spoke with the prosecutor's office this afternoon. They're waiting to get a final report from the coroner as to the exact cause of death before seeking a murder charge from the grand jury. I also just...
And I can almost guarantee y'all they're going to get blunt force trauma, which is intentional. That is going to get them a murder charge.
IM'd with young Nala's father via Facebook.
Oh, and also, to answer your question, you're saying, did the boxer punch the baby? Well, I don't know that he didn't, but what I do know is that the mom admitted to hitting the baby. The mom admitted to punching her. So you can quote me for saying that. The mom, based on what I read, admitted to punching her own child.
And he said to me, incidentally, wanted to make clear that he is, again, in no way involved in this criminal case. He said, I would never have expected anything like this. I'm truly hurt, and words cannot explain my pain.
911 location of your emergency.
Yes, my daughter's not responding. She just passed out.
On the phone seems to be a frantic mother calling for help for her daughter who's unresponsive.
How long has she been like this?
It was just, I want to say 3 minutes ago, ma'am, 2 minutes ago. She was just fine, and then she passed out and re-woke back up and passed out again.
Yeah.
According to Springfield...
Re-woke back up. I've never even heard nobody say that before. She re-woke back up. Like, what?
Township Police, the woman on the phone, 25-year-old Tiana Robinson, was the cause of her daughter not breathing.
From about 12:45 till about 5:30, Springfield Township was lined all up and down the street, and they stayed there about 6 hours.
Police responded to this home on Hootapole Lane where Nala, her mother, and her mother's boyfriend, Rensley Washington, live. The call was for a 4-year-old not breathing.
Does she have some sort of like seizure disorder or anything like that?
I'm not sure. She's done this this is like her 3rd time doing it now.
See? So if you listen to the news videos. The mom said this is like her 3rd time doing this. They're giving accounts of this while they're being recorded. And then they told the police something different.
Have some sort of like seizure disorder or anything like that?
I'm not sure. She's done this this is like her 3rd time doing it now.
Documents say Robinson punched the 4-year-old child before choking her until she stopped breathing. According to court documents, Washington was one of the child's caretakers and observed prolonged physical abuse resulting in serious harm to the 4-year-old child in addition to malnutrition. Robinson and Washington were arrested. The girl's mother charged with 2 counts of felony assault, the mother's boyfriend with endangering children and obstructing justice. In messages, Nala's father tells me Nala loved Disney movies and her dog Cookie. He says she didn't deserve to die the way she did.
Just a sweet face there. Well, Robinson and Washington are likely to face additional charges in wake of the 4-year-old's death. Robinson remains jailed on a $1 million bond. Ashley Kirkland, WLWT News 5.
This is the way little Nala Miller will always be remembered. A playful, happy 4-year-old. She loved Disney movies and her dog Cookie. But last Tuesday, Nala's life took a turn she wasn't able to recover from.
How long has she been like this?
It was just, I want to say 3 minutes ago, ma'am, 2 minutes ago. She was just fine, and then she passed out.
Listen at their voices. Do they sound like they're in a panic at all? Listen at their voices. Listen at the tone of their voices. Listen at the concern in their voice.
and re-woke back up and passed out again.
Police say Nala's mother, 25-year-old Tiana Robinson, punched her multiple times before strangling her inside this house on Hudapole Lane. Robinson's boyfriend, Rensley Washington, also in police custody. Nala's father, too shocked and shaken to speak on camera, did tell us this. She was the sweetest little girl. She was just loved so much. There isn't more you could ask for in a child. I'm just broken. This latest incident marking yet another child lost in our area in recent months. A 13-year-old stabbed to death earlier this week, and the bodies of 6-year-old James Hutchinson and 3-year-old Nilo Lattimore.
Did y'all see these two?
And the bodies of...
We did these two stories, so if y'all haven't seen these, you can look them up on the channel. But we did these two stories also.
6-year-old James Hutchinson and 3-year-old Nilo Lattimore, still nowhere to be found.
We need to lay these babies to rest. We know that they're spiritual with God and God has them right now, but for peace and for closure and just for our families right now, we need this.
Meanwhile, neighbors in Springfield Township tell us the home has been a trouble spot before.
Police being called up there all the time.
Y'all hear that? That's one thing I almost forgot to talk about. The police have been to this house often for trouble issues. I'm not sure exactly what that meant. I would like for them to describe whether they mean for CPS, were there complaints against them fighting with each other, hurting a little girl. I would have liked to have known specifically what that means.
All neighbors in Springfield Township tell us the home has been a trouble spot before.
Listen at this.
Police being called up there all the time.
After Nala was rushed to the hospital, doctors at Children's saw signs of prolonged abuse and malnourishment.
A 4-year-old mother and her boyfriend are accused of killing a 4-year-old girl.
Joanna Boris live now with the breaking details on this case.
4-year-old Nala Miller's father tells me he's too upset to talk on camera, but says his little girl was a sweetheart and her favorite movie is Frozen. He and neighbors tell me that they never expected something so horrific could happen to her. This is 4-year-old Nala Miller. Her father says her favorite movie was Frozen. Today, the Hamilton County Prosecutor's Office indicted Miller's mother, Tiana Robinson, for attempted murder, child endangerment, and 2 counts of felonious assault. Court documents show Robinson admitted last Tuesday she repeatedly beat and strangled Nala until she stopped breathing on Hudapole Road in Springfield Township.
I'm devastated. Never heard of anything. Been up here at least 30 years, and we've never had anything to happen like that on this street.
The prosecutor's office says no.
And guess, I forgot about that part too. They said that the baby appeared to be malnourished, so they could have potentially been starving her also. So bookmark that. They've been starving her, and the police were called out multiple times in the past. We'll come back to that.
Nala was taken to Cincinnati Children's Hospital and put on life support, but she died yesterday. The coroner's office says it's waiting on her autopsy results to determine what caused her death.
They had to be kind of hurting themselves. They had to hurt on the inside, you know, to do that. There's nothing that could make me just beat anybody, like I said, let alone a child. I have a 4-year-old, and I love her to death, and no. Could never do that. You discipline, but you don't abuse.
The prosecutor's office says Robinson didn't act alone. Her boyfriend, Rensley Washington, is being indicted with endangering children and obstructing justice.
So for people who say I don't get my information right, you're looking at the actual numbers and charges right there on the screen. So this is stuff you can actually look up.
The prosecutor's office saying he lied to investigators, claiming Nala got hurt falling off of her scooter.
I definitely wouldn't want to know anybody as heartless as the people across the street, knowing what they did.
Robinson is being held at the Hamilton County Justice Center. Her bail is set at $1 million. Washington's bond is set at $90,000. I'm live in Springfield Township. Joanna Boris, Fox 19 Now. We'll be right back.
This is the way little Nala Miller will always be remembered. A playful, happy 4-year-old. She loved Disney movies and her dog Cookie. But last Tuesday, Nala's life took a turn she wasn't able to recover from.
How long has she been like this?
It was just, I want to say, 3 minutes ago, ma'am, 2 minutes ago. She was just fine, and then she passed out and woke back up and passed out again.
Police say Nala's mother, 25-year-old Tiana Robinson, punched her multiple times before strangling her inside this house on Hudapole Lane. Robinson's boyfriend, Rensley Washington, also in police custody. Nala's father, too shocked and shaken to speak on camera, did tell us this. She was the sweetest little girl. She was just loved so much. There isn't more you could ask for in a child. I'm just broken. This latest incident marking yet another child lost in our area in recent months. A 13-year-old stabbed to death earlier this week, and the bodies of 6-year-old James Hutchinson and 3-year-old Nilo Lattimore.
Let me go ahead and skip to this part. If y'all don't mind, I found a couple of extra videos, so I want to say thank you to the family for posting and sharing her memory. These videos, I don't think they're very long, but they're really short videos, but I'm going to just show y'all some of the last memories that we have of this baby. If y'all don't mind, let me show y'all these. And thank you for you guys who are in the chat. Thank you for you guys who hugged the child and clicked that like. Thank you to all of y'all. We still have one more story to talk about right after this, but let me show y'all these videos of this baby real quick.
Nala. Marsha.
And I think all of these videos came from other family members, okay?
Nala. Hi. What's up? Squad. Say squad.
And just remember, these are other family members. I think like aunts and cousins and stuff like that. Okay, so none of these include the people who have been arrested. The mom and boyfriend. These are not those videos. These are other family members.
Squad. All right, so now you just scream. Squad. Squad. Say it. Say squad. All right, so now you just scream. Squad.
Beautiful little baby. That's a beautiful little baby. I don't understand why anybody would ever be upset with that baby. She is just the most precious little thing. Precious little baby. And let me tell you guys this as I give my closing thoughts. And I always think about my daughter when she was this age. And it's just, they just can't do anything wrong. Like, I just think that I'm just enamored with children and babies, and especially little girls. So I always knew that when I had a baby, I was going to have a daughter. And I love my daughter, and shout out to her. To watch her go from being like a 4-year-old and 5-year-old baby to watch where she is now, being a teenager. It's just time flies so quickly. And I treasure all of those moments and all of those years. And I just think that this father in this story deserved an opportunity to watch his baby grow up the same way that I did. His baby deserved a chance. If the mom did not want to properly take care of this child, which clearly she did not, I want y'all to remember, the mother admitted to punching and choking the baby. Because they would have been able to prove that by way of evidence anyway. But she admitted it. So I'm glad that they charged her accordingly, but we'll get more charges once the autopsy comes in. There will more than likely be some level of a murder charge that also follows, okay? As far as the boyfriend's participation, we're not exactly sure, but the fact that we have him on tape lying, and let me be clear when I say this, if we find out that there is some type of child abuse, mishandling, any type of violence towards a child, and we find out that the details that you or anybody else gave us lied about it, I think we should have laws on the books to be able to give you jail time for lying about the details, intentionally lying about the details of what happened about a child, especially when we find just overwhelming evidence to prove that that's not accurate. So I hope that they also throw the book at the boyfriend as well. There is absolutely no way that he didn't know this was going on. As far as the dad, we haven't heard as far as from him how much access he had to his daughter, how often he saw his daughter. But with the mom having custody, mothers in a lot of these cases, it's not all, but the majority of them have the ability to choose, to pick and choose when the dad is able to see those kids. So we really don't know how much time he had, how many months he didn't get to see his daughter. We don't know, but we do know that he came out and spoke out. So I'm thankful for that. And we want the dad to know that we're praying for him. But also, let me say this, because there is one small thing I did forget. But we're going to talk about this. So this goes out to all parents, to anybody who decides to lay down and procreate and make these children. They can't speak for themselves. They cannot defend themselves. They cannot make the choices. You choose to bring them into this world. Therefore, you should be responsible as a parent for taking care of their life insurance. All human beings should have life insurance. If you're too damn cheap, if your budget is too messed up, if you can't afford life insurance, then you shouldn't be a parent. I'm sorry, but you shouldn't be. If you have to go and put up a GoFundMe to supplement for life insurance, and I hope the father won't take offense to this, but I'm speaking further than this story. I talk about all stories this way, so please don't take offense. We all, as family and mothers and fathers, should be able to take care of our own final expenses. Nobody knows the day or the hour that we will pass away. Therefore, we should always have this set up. Just like you get into a car, you don't know if you're about to get into a car accident, but you're required to have car insurance. We shouldn't have to make this where you're forced to have life insurance, but you should have it, okay? But nonetheless, they did put up crowdfunding. I'm going to make this bigger so y'all can see it. Whoever is asking for this, it says Nathaniel Miller. I don't know if that's the dad. I think that might be the biological father, and I know he might not like me saying this, but they're asking for $20,000. 20,000. 20,000. And not a single dime is coming from any family member to be able to give this baby a funeral. 20,000. Go to GerberLife.com. Get you some quotes. It don't cost that much to even cover for an amount like 20,000, but to just hope that the world hears your story and hope that people feel sad enough. So I want y'all to think about this. For those of y'all who think it's okay to put up a GoFundMe, I want y'all to think about this. What about the one or two stories like this that will get the funding because they got the media attention? What about the hundreds, if not thousands, of those who also suffer similar situations like this, like what this baby had to go through, and nobody hears their story? They don't get any GoFundMe money. They put up a $5,000 GoFundMe, they get $3 or $4. They get $200 or $300. Some of them get zero. Because they are not planning. This is not planning, hoping that society will pick up the bill. There's too many people that are trying to have these final expenses paid, and they end up being in debt because they don't have a plan. That's not smart for any way of living. But let me say this. This mother starved her own child. Her face looked like it's, I don't know, like it's starving for a bath. is a horrible face. Look like somebody took like rubber bullets from a shotgun and just blasted her in the face. That is a horrible looking woman. I'm sorry, but it is. She starved this baby, beat this baby, and choked her. Probably to smite the father, to hurt the dad. She didn't love that child. She never did. That's why she only had that child for the benefits that she can get off of that baby. And once those benefits stopped, then she decided to take it out on the kid. We believe that babies' lives matter, and we have to start speaking out. If you see something, say something. Clearly, the neighbors did, because if they heard something, they always called the police. The police, CPS, I don't know who was out there, but they were always coming to this house in particular because something was wrong. I feel like the community did their job. The community did their job. Family and friends did their job. At the end of the day, the responsibility of the protection doesn't fall on the police. It doesn't fall on CPS. It falls on mother, biological mother, and biological father. At the end of the day, if we start thinking more deeply about how we are bringing children into this world, we are just literally getting to these willy-nilly relationships, having sex, and making babies with no plan of action for how to raise them. As men, we need to stop and put our seeds up. We could end this as men. So let me get on to the men for a moment. All of this extra stuff that's going on right now can end if we just stop recklessly procreating and put our seeds away. Because with no seed, there is no fruit to bear. For those mothers who have already taken the seed and accepted the seed from a man, you also have a choice as well between abstinence, between condoms, between day after pills, during pills, early term abortion, late term. Like there are a number of options. Even the Safe Haven Act is available in every single state. Even after you have the kid, you could have given the kid up to adoption, or you could have just given this baby to the dad, which clearly he loves his kid. But she didn't want to do that. She wanted to hurt him. So what I'm saying, it's not on men or women. It's up to both of us. We need to stop pointing the finger at everybody else and start pointing the finger at us. That's when we will start to get change. Take care of us. Think about these babies first and put these babies first. I hope that dude and that woman right there, Crater Face and I'll Be Sure's love child, I hope they go to jail. And not only that, after they get out of jail, I hope they go straight to hell. Okay? To this baby, and let me get my favorite picture of her. That's probably one of my favorites right there. To 4-year-old Nala Miller, young princess, R.I.P. R.I.P. I'm DJ Just Jay, and we're going to continue to speak for our babies and hopefully turn the tide in this war for our children, okay? Thank y'all so much for listening with an open mind and an open heart. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, another story out of Chicago, a.k.a. Chiraq. And I know people think that I might be being disrespectful by using that terminology, but I'm going to tell you, I could do so many stories out of Chicago by itself. It is just unreal. And I guess I keep hoping that at some point people will wake up. So let me say this. I really believe that all the violence, all the killing, all the shooting could stop if people in general would just wake the hell up and just decide to stop. I'm not going to use my gun. I'm not going to do anything crazy. It could stop when we want to. And that's what I'm praying for, hoping for, and encouraging people to do. Because I'm going to tell you guys, the attitudes of people have caused this baby to be shot. Have y'all heard about this story? This comes out of Chicago, and that baby's name is Kayden, Kayden, Swann, Swann. That toddler baby was shot in the head for the most senseless reason ever. It is the stupidest thing. And a lot of us have been through road rage. Like, we've gotten upset that things have happened that we didn't want to happen because we've been late. Somebody cut us off. Somebody brake checked us. Whatever it is, it cannot lead to what just happened here. So let me give you guys the details. This toddler was shot in the head in a Lakeshore Drive road rage incident earlier this month. But the positive portion is that this baby is now out of intensive care. So please, let's put a prayer hands up in the chat for that. This baby is out of intensive care and making good progress, and he's at a hospital according to officials. Now, after over 2 weeks of intensive care treatment, the little baby by the name, let me see if I can get that baby's face up on the screen. Let's see here. That beautiful little baby boy right there, Caden Swan, 22 months old, has been extubated and is breathing on his own. So that is such a positive thing. Y'all see those prayer hands up in the chat. People are wishing such beautiful things for this baby boy. We hope that he survives and thrives, right? Caden was transferred out of the pediatric intensive care unit and is moving spontaneously and continues to be very responsive to treatment. They said they're thrilled to report that this very good outcome after such serious head injury. He continues on a very positive trajectory, and I expect for him to have a great road of recovery. I'm grateful to the expert surgeons, doctors, nurses, and therapists that provided round-the-clock trauma care to Caden. Additionally, thankful to our social workers and family services staff for providing support for Caden's family during this difficult time. Here are the details. Caden was in a car that was being driven by his grandmother's then boyfriend, Jashawn Brown, who was arrested and charged with felony gun charges later that day. Hashtag, when you date thugs, you date death. Is that not an AFC hashtag? Last time I checked, it was. I'm going to read that again for those who might have missed that. This baby that you see on my screen, that beautiful smiling little boy, was in a car that was driven by grandma's boyfriend. That terminology, grandma's boyfriend, not grandma's husband, grandma's boyfriend. And you would have to ask yourself, where in the world are we in 2021 where grandmas ain't married and they still dating around and they're still dating thugs being a grandmother? Is that not ridiculous? Or am I wrong? Am I being a jerk? You can tell me in the chat if I'm just being mean and unreasonable. But I think that's really weird that you're older than dirt, still dating, and can't find a good man. Like, no, we're going to literally continue to keep putting our children around thugs. Come on, man. Really? And I want y'all to remember, I don't say thug referring to a skin color, because that ain't a skin color. Thug is not a skin color. Thug is an action. It is an action, not a skin color. So the fact that this man was arrested on felony gun charges, meaning he should not have had a gun, meaning he probably did some bull crap that caused him to have a felony, that caused him to not be able to have a gun, which makes him a thug, criminal. You get it? Let's move on. Cook County prosecutors Andrea Williams said Brown was driving Swan's grandmother in the front seat and the boy was in his car seat when the driver of an SUV merging into his lane almost hit his car. Let me say that again. Not hit his car, not clipped his car. No, not that. Almost hit his car. I want y'all to remember that this road rage thing is very stupid and it's illogical. That somebody almost did something and you go do what he just did. Let me explain what he did. Williams described Brown in court as Caden's grandfather, but later clarified he's not biologically related to this baby. So Brown pulled over and yelled at the driver of the SUV. She said Brown and the unknown man exchanged words. Of course, they was cussing and fussing like fools. And then the other man pulled out a gun and asked Brown what he wanted to do about it while dangling the firearm at the defendant. So in hood terminology, he said, well, what you gonna do, old man? What's happening with it? What you gonna do, fool? And you know what he said? Brown picked up and placed his 9mm gun on his lap and continued driving north on Lakeshore Drive in an attempt to get away from the SUV driver. The SUV driver continued to follow Brown's family and then started busting caps at the vehicle, a white Lincoln sedan, Williams said. One of those bullets, let me see if I can pull up that picture real quick, which is... I want y'all to get a good look at this. That one, right there. One of the bullets shattered the rear window and hit Caden in his head. I don't know if it was that one, but it looks pretty plausible because that's aimed directly at the back seat. One thing that y'all know about, I'm sorry to say this, I gotta say this. One thing that y'all know about people in Chicago is they can't aim. They just shoot. How are you aiming for the person that's driving the car, but you hit the back seat? Thank you. Somebody said in the chat, another rear window. The rear window. I'm just saying, first of all, you should be shooting, but shouldn't you have good aim if you're going to be shooting? Just saying. Police and Mayor Lori Lightfoot, of course, the awesome Lori Lightfoot out there, the mayor, said it appeared Brown and the other man had been shooting at each other over several blocks. Jesus Christ. Police say at the time they found multiple shell casings between the 900 block and 1100 block of South Lakeshore Drive near Grant Park. So they were just driving and busting caps at each other. After the shooting, Brown crashed into another car near Jackson and Lakeshore Drive before a Good Samaritan drove them to Northwestern Hospital. The baby, Caden, was transferred to Lurie with a severe brain injury requiring full critical care support. Doctors placed him in a medically induced coma and on a ventilator. While Caden makes progress at the hospital, police are still searching for the driver of the SUV, and additionally, Caden's mother started a GoFundMe campaign. Oh my goodness, man. You can't write a novel better than this. They want help with medical expenses. Because why have insurance? Well, you could just open up a GoFundMe, right? Would you guys like to see the GoFundMe? Let me see if I can get that pulled up here real quick. Y'all give me just a moment. And if you guys are listening to the story right now, if you would, do me a favor. We have a thing that we like to call Hug a Child, Click the Like. If y'all want to show some love for these babies, do me a favor and click that like. It'll help share this stream, okay? Let me show you guys something real quick. Let me see if I could just drop. No, I can't do that, but I can do it like this. Show you guys this GoFundMe. Here's the GoFundMe that the mother set up. They are asking for $9,000 in GoFundMe money. Aftercare cost for baby Caden. Jaleesa Hooks is the organizer, and I'm assuming that's probably the mother because she said, my son is one, almost two, and was shot in the right temple and is fighting for his life in the hospital. Give me $9,000. Don't you think for $9,000 you could at least put some punctuation in there? At least write a proper sentence? At least for $9,000, don't you think you could have gave us a couple of sentences? Maybe put the link to the news page or something? My son is 1, almost 2, shot in the temple. He fighting for his life. Give me money. I'm going to tell y'all what I believe is silly about this GoFundMe. That's for aftercare. That means you don't even know what the bill is going to be. You have not been billed yet. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? You have not gotten a final bill because the baby is still getting help. Everybody understand? You don't even know what the final bill is going to be. Why don't you just calm down? Everybody's so quick to put up a goddamn GoFundMe. Wait until you get the full bill. Am I asking too much? Does that not make sense? Can you wait for the bill to come out rather than just saying, give me a blind amount of money? Man, look, I guess I'm just pissing in the wind at this point. Nobody understands that. Let me give you guys the fair usage and let me show you guys the news videos. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. Somebody in the chat said Illinois child health insurance is free. So is common sense. Let's move on. Common sense is free too. Well, let's move on.
So following that breaking news here tonight, a 2-year-old boy is fighting for his life after being shot in an apparent road rage incident on Lakeshore Drive. Doctors say the next 24 to 48 hours are going to be critical here.
WGN's Jenna Barnes live at Lurie Children's Hospital with the latest on that boy's condition plus the investigation. Jenna?
Ben and Lourdes, police say they are questioning someone in connection to this shooting. Family tells us this little boy's name is Caden and he is in grave condition here. Doctors say the bullet hit his brain.
Anytime we have brain injury, it's very hard to predict exactly what the course will be. But it's a very tenuous situation. It can change hourly.
Dr. Marcelo Malacuti says right now 2-year-old Caden is on a ventilator in the pediatric ICU of Lurie Children's Hospital after he was shot in the head during what police describe as an apparent road rage incident on Lakeshore Drive this morning.
We are well prepared to take care of these traumas when they come in. We luckily have an amazing team that unfortunately has to be trained to deal with these types of situations.
A situation Caden's family says never should have happened.
It appears that they're completely unknown to each other, and there was a dispute possibly over somebody.
Sorry about that. I just turned the volume up. Sorry if y'all couldn't hear that. I just turned the volume up just a little bit.
Not letting somebody into lane of traffic.
Police say it started at Waldron and Lakeshore Drive near Soldier Field and escalated near Grant Park. Officers say shots were fired for 2 blocks. The car the boy was in crashed near Lakeshore Drive and Monroe, rear-ending another driver who asked us not to show her face.
And she was saying her baby had been shot. And I saw her, I saw the baby, and I tried to get out of the traffic.
Police say a good Samaritan driving this Tesla rushed the little boy and his family to the hospital.
With any type of head injury, time is certainly of the essence.
And doctors say the next day or 2 will be critical for Caden's treatment. Officers tell us they found a gun in the car the little boy was in, but they haven't yet determined if it was used during this shooting. We're live at Lurie Children's Hospital. Jenna Barnes, WGN News.
Praying for that child. Thank you.
We want to make sure that justice is being done, that it's served.
A man faces charges in the shooting on Lakeshore Drive this week that left a toddler in critical condition. The person charged was in the car with that young victim.
He appeared in court today. WGN's Mike Lowe live at Lurie Children's Hospital with the latest. Mike?
And good evening to both of you. Here at Lurie Children's Hospital, doctors say that 21-month-old victim is showing small signs of improvement. Meanwhile, the young victim's family is only beginning to start to deal with both the emotional and the legal ramifications.
There are deep concerns and deep breaths for Clifton Marvel.
I'm trying to hold up.
2 days ago, his daughter and her boyfriend, Jushuan Brown, were driving with 1-year-old Caden Swan on Lakeshore Drive when a road rage incident led to gunfire and the toddler was shot in the head. Police initially said Brown fired back at a person in an SUV who had fired at his car, but Marvel says it all started with Brown shooting at the SUV.
Him firing the first shot, who initiated this whole thing, if he would have just took a minute, this would have never happened. This guy firing shots, which caused Caden to be shot in the head.
The boy was saved when another driver passing by the scene of the shooting picked him up and rushed him to Northwestern Memorial Hospital.
The Good Samaritan took both of them to the hospital.
Police have charged 43-year-old Brown with unlawful use of a weapon by a felon. Caden Swan is in critical condition at Lurie Children's Hospital. Doctors there say he was on sedatives to reduce brain swelling. In a written statement, the medical director of the pediatric ICU said he is demonstrating some return in brain activity, and we're optimistic about the clinical signs we're seeing. Chicago police say they recovered Brown's gun at Northwestern Hospital.
This man initiated everything. He fired the first shot. He actually tried to run when he was at the hospital. He actually tried to run and get away. My daughter alerted.
Y'all heard that, right? For everybody who might be feeling sad for him, I want y'all to listen.
Hospital.
This man initiated everything. He fired the first shot. He actually tried to run when he was at the hospital. He actually tried to run and get away. My daughter alerted the police to keep him, to hold him.
Today, police also closed down a portion of Lakeshore Drive as they continued to search for evidence. Marvel says he wants Brown to be locked up.
At this point, this is where the violence starts, because the system fails the complainant.
And police say tonight they are still searching for the person who actually shot that young boy. Reporting live tonight outside of Lurie Children's Hospital, Mike Lowe, WGN News.
Story to watch. Thank you so much, Mike.
Developing this morning, Chicago police have charged a man in connection with a road rage shooting that left a toddler in critical condition.
Glenn Marshall is live at Lurie Children's Hospital with more. Glenn.
Yeah, good morning. Now, that child is still here in very critical condition as doctors try to protect his brain. In the meantime, police did say that they made an arrest involving this road rage shooting, and it was the victim's grandmother's boyfriend that is now behind bars. Take a look at this photo that we have. Police say 43-year-old Jushuan Brown was arrested for firing shots at the other vehicle involved, but did not say if he was the driver or passenger. Police told us 21-month-old Caden Swan was shot in the head after the road rage shooting on Lakeshore Drive Tuesday morning. He was in the vehicle with his grandmother and her boyfriend. We were told it started when one vehicle wouldn't let another vehicle merge near Soldier Field. That led to gunshots. Witnesses saying the vehicle Caden was in returned fire before crashing into this Lexus SUV. Witnesses also said the other vehicle involved is a black Chevy. Now, a Good Samaritan brought Caden to the hospital where doctors say he is in a medically induced coma with a ventilator helping him breathe.
He's requiring full critical care support. That includes a number of our subspecialists, our trauma care team, our surgeons and our neurosurgeons who work with the ICU to make sure that we can stabilize him as best possible.
Now, police did say Jushuan Brown was charged with possession and unlawful use of a weapon. He has a hearing later on this morning. As for the other person involved in this shooting, police have not made an arrest just yet. For now, we're live downtown. I'm Glenn Marshall, WGN News.
Very own WGN Evening News at 4.
Breaking news this afternoon, Chicago police tracked down the gunman suspected of shooting a toddler just 22 months old during a road rage incident on Lakeshore Drive. We begin there. Good afternoon to you. I'm Lourdes Duarte.
And I'm Ben Bradley. Thanks for joining us. That man now charged with attempted murder in a shooting that ended with a 22-month-old boy in a coma. WGN's Mike Lowe live at police headquarters with more.
Ben and Lourdes, good afternoon to both of you. Chicago police say that alleged gunman was taken into custody 2 days ago on the near west side. This after police detectives reviewed hours of traffic camera footage and interviewed witnesses. They were able to track him down some 2 weeks after the incident occurred.
Y'all hear this? Wow. Do me a favor, y'all. Please click that thumbs up. We're doing really good. We are at currently 455. That's actually pretty good because our goal was 400 tonight. Let's see if we can get to 500. Let's see if we can get to 500. We only need 44 more people to click that thumbs up. 44. Let's see if 44 people can hug a child. Click that like, okay? All right, let's keep going.
They used a lot of technology in order to track down this defendant, but it also could not be possible without the grandmother of the baby who was in the car when the baby was struck. Without her cooperation, we're not getting here.
Chief of Detectives Brendan Denahan identified the shooter as 25-year-old DeAndre Binion of the Morgan Park neighborhood on Chicago's South Side. He has been charged with 3 counts of attempted murder in the first degree and 1 count of aggravated battery. Police say Binion opened fire on another vehicle while on Lakeshore Drive in a, quote, road rage incident, and they say he ended up shooting 22-month-old Caden Swan in the head. That was back on April 6th, the same day that Vice President Kamala Harris was in the city for a vaccination event. The young victim was in the car with his grandmother and her boyfriend, who also had a gun, but today police say that boyfriend did not fire back at Binion. In those frantic moments after the child was shot, a Good Samaritan driving by picked up the boy and rushed him to Northwestern Memorial Hospital, where doctors placed him in a medically induced coma and relieved pressure on his brain.
22-month-old Caden Swan is finally breathing on his own and out of the pediatric intensive care unit after being shot on Lakeshore Drive. That toddler was wounded just about 2 weeks ago in what police call the road rage incident. Caden has a severe injury to his head that will require extensive rehabilitation, but he is expected to be released from the hospital soon. Doctors at Lurie Children's Hospital say it is an extremely positive outcome considering the seriousness of his injury.
The degree of recovery that he has is certainly remarkable. We do have cases where they've recovered this well, but it is in the minority of cases, so we're very happy to see his recovery.
43-year-old Jashwan Brown was driving the car with Caden, was riding in, but he was initially charged with unlawful use of a weapon, but the person who actually shot Caden has not been found.
Well, Cheryl and Alan, doctors say the next 2 days will be critical to this little boy's survival. Right now, he is in the ICU in grave condition as investigators question that person of interest in this shooting.
Another child in critical condition, another mother crying, another family speechless.
Tonight, doctors are working to save this 21-month-old boy's life after he was shot in the head while traveling in a car on Lakeshore Drive.
He's undergoing a number of treatments, and we're managing his illness right now, and so it's really hard to predict right now what will happen.
Chicago police say shots were first fired on Lakeshore Drive near Waldron just after 11 this morning and continued for 2 blocks.
Several shots fired on Lakeshore Drive.
We're hearing that a baby shot.
Investigators say the shooting may have started as a road rage incident.
There was a dispute possibly over somebody, not letting somebody into lane of traffic.
It does appear to be a case of road rage. The detectives are actively investigating.
And they almost killed a baby over this stupid crap. Everybody got a freaking attitude.
They have witnesses and a suspect.
The victim's car crashed on the drive near Monroe just as a Good Samaritan was driving by.
She crawled out of the passenger side front window of the car and, started screaming that her baby's hurt and her baby's been shot.
Wanting to remain anonymous, the man said he heard a woman screaming for help and didn't hesitate to get them to the hospital.
Told him that, just get in the back seat of the car and I'll try to get you there as fast as I can.
Doctors say timing was...
We only need 20 more people to click that thumbs up. If y'all are listening, if you just got here or if you haven't done it yet, look down just for a moment. If y'all would, click that thumbs up. We only need 20 more people, and we can reach our goal.
Of the essence, adding it was fortunate someone immediately offered help, but this man said it was just the right thing to do.
Said they needed help, and I don't think I could live with that if I decided to continue driving. I think it's what you're supposed to do.
Community activist Jamal Green is offering a $5,000 reward for any information that leads to an arrest in this case.
Hey, if you like that video, be sure to subscribe to our ABC7 Chicago YouTube channel.
The 21-month-old who was shot in an apparent road rage incident is in critical condition as Chicago police question a person about the gunfire.
WGN's Julian Cruz live at Lurie Children's Hospital with the update.
Ben, doctors here at Lurie Children's say that the boy who took a bullet to his temple remains in critical condition. He is in a medically induced coma in order to help reduce swelling, and he is receiving around-the-clock care in Lurie's pediatric intensive care unit.
Over the past 24 hours, although he's remained critically ill, he has been unchanged. So he has not worsened, but he's remained critically ill. He's still in a medical coma that we have placed him in to protect his brain during the injury.
The news comes as Chicago police detectives say that they are talking to an individual in connection to yesterday's terrible incident on Lakeshore Drive. All this while the wounded boy's family speaks publicly for the first time.
This is hit home.
Loved ones reeling from yesterday's violence. 21-month-old Caden, the family preferring not to share his last name publicly, fighting for his life at this hour, a day after a road rage incident on the 300 block of South Lakeshore Drive ended with gunfire. The toddler suffering a bullet wound to the temple, according to detectives, as he rode in a car with his grandmother and the grandmother's boyfriend about 11 o'clock yesterday morning. The armed motorist who did the damage fleeing the scene while police seized a 9mm handgun from the grandmother's boyfriend. No indication from investigators that the boyfriend fired his weapon.
The bullet went in and came out.
The boy's loved ones talking to our own Jenna Barnes last night. The family clinging to hope that Lurie surgeons can undo the damage. Doctors say in many cases the outcome of serious head wounds is difficult to predict. Now, one update to tell you about Lurie Children's Hospital. Doctors, with permission from the family, identifying the toddler's full name. He is identified as Caden Swan. Once again, he is 21 months old. He is clinging to life at this hour on a ventilator in a medically induced coma. At Lurie Children's Hospital, Julian Cruz, WGN News.
Thank you, Julian.
All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get my closing thoughts. I think that's going to wrap that up. I'm going to give you guys my closing thoughts, and let me say this. First of all, this road rage thing is just a stupid thing, and things happen on the road, man. We just need to not overreact. We have to start thinking more than just about ourselves and just learn to let stuff go, man. Life is too precious. Life is too short. We got too much stuff to do in life to accomplish, things to do, places to be, people that need us, for us to lose ourselves in a careless moment and do something as stupid as road rage. Stopping the car, hollering, screaming, cussing people out, flipping people off, shooting at people, following people. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. But let me say this. I'm glad that this baby, again, his name is Caden Swan. That's his full name. I'm hoping that he makes a recovery. And I really hope that this baby grows up and becomes something great. There was a divine blessing for him to be able to survive. It really is. So let's put a prayer hands up in the chat for that. Let me take this in a different direction. First of all, for grandma to be dating is stupid by itself. What have you done your entire life that you're still dating at grandma ages? That just, I'm sorry, maybe some of y'all got some family members that are like that. I'm sorry, it just don't sound right. Then on top of that, the fact that this dude illegally had a weapon, which means that he shouldn't have had one. He's done something in a way that did not act in accordance with the law that caused him to not be able to own a gun legally. That's a thug. Not because of his skin color, because of his actions. His actions and overreacting to almost being hit. Almost When they say almost doesn't count, let me say that again. Almost being hit does not and should not count. And even if you did get hit, you still shouldn't overreact. That's absolutely asinine, and it's unacceptable. To the man that shot that baby, life in prison. Why does he need anything else? One less thug. We can type that in the chat. Maybe that's a new hashtag. Hashtag one less thug. Throw his ass in jail for life. Why does he ever need to be paroled? Because if he do that to these people, he do it to anybody. Last but not least, I want to say this. I want to throw some names out there. Dante Wright, Ahmaud Arbery, Alton Sterling, Walter L. Scott, Rayshard Brooks, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Stephon Clark. Do you guys know those names? You've heard those names before, right? And I'm going to say this. The whole freaking country got up in arms and they got all upset and all worked up, protest and blah, blah, blah. I'm wondering, did you guys hear any outrage, any protest about Caden Swan? Was there any public outrage? Did the president come out and speak about this? Did the vice president, who was actually in the city at the time, Kamala Harris, y'all Indian/black president, whenever she want to feel like being black, I guess, did she say anything about this while she was in that city? Did she issue a statement? Were there any protests? Were there any marches? Oh, that's right. No, there wasn't. There was no national outrage. They say that we should fear the police, but it seems like it's always us doing this to us. Let me give you guys another set of names. Malia Bass, Malia Davis, Camille Cupcake McKinney, Orrin and Orson West, Paris Bradley, Samantha Bell, Mackenzie Jade, Anaya Day Garrett, Nala Miller. Where are the protests and the outrage and the foundations and the support, the justice for them? Where is that at? Who's going to speak up and show that babies' lives matter? Who's going to keep their names alive? Seems like it's just the AFC, the advocacy where children matter and they matter first. I'm not saying that those other lives don't matter, but what I'm saying is that babies and children's lives should matter just a bit more than grown adults. That is my point. Just a bit more. Because they can't speak for themselves. They can't defend themselves against the tyranny that they're forced to go through. And that's just not fair. And it needs to change. And somebody needs to speak up and say something. And I feel like instead of me hoping that somebody does it, I just put myself on the line. My life, my reputation. I put myself on the line for those babies because I think it's worth it. We are the AFC and we are advocates for children and we are advocates for children first. I thank all of you guys who listen to us with an open mind and an open heart. We'll put a prayer hands up in the chat for Caden Swan. We'll put a prayer hands up in the chat. Let me see if I can get his picture up here real quick. Let's skip past those. We'll put a prayer hands up in the chat and we'll pray that this baby makes an absolutely full recovery. 100%. Caden Swan, young prince, we are praying for you, okay? Thank you guys so much for listening with an open mind and an open heart. And from my heart to yours, I love all of you guys. Thank y'all so much for supporting this message, being patient with me. And we'll see you guys on the next stream because we do have more work to do. All right? See y'all on the next stream. Peace. Guys, it's really late and I got a wedding to do. All right? Because y'all know I'm still a DJ. I still got to get it in. I got a wedding. I got to get some sleep. Y'all have a blessed night and we'll see y'all on the next stream. All right? Thank y'all for listening. Y'all have a great night. Prayer hands up in the chat. Hit that thumbs up on the way out. Get us to 500 thumbs up. Peace.
Nora's Authentic Designer has some of the most glamorous and stylish handbags your girl has ever seen. So ladies, if you want to get fly, and fellas, if you want to take care of your lady, please be sure to go to www.noras915.com. www.noras915.com. That's right, www.noras915.com.
Hello, listeners. Come mask up with Keyline Designs, where you reap what we sow. We offer essential, handcrafted face masks made with 100% cotton, equipped with a built-in filter and a slot for refillable filters. Our masks have many uses like riding motorcycles, ATVs, while out in public places, outside exercising, lawn and gardening, and helps prevent the spread of germs. We offer bling, sports logos, monograms, many assorted fabrics and colors. We make child-sized masks starting at the age of 2. Come join us today for the launch of our new website at keylinedesigns.com. Please be sure to like and follow our page on Facebook. Our links can be found in the description box of this video. Thank you.